We are back with another live session with Kyla. So I'm going to add her in. Give me a moment. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Kyla.
Hi, this is much better.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, I had let everyone know that we were going to go live on YouTube, but we're having some technical issues. So here we are. But I'm glad you're here with us. And we are going to have a conversation with Kyla today about style and all things feminine. And I've been talking to you all about how I want to speak with more guests about their area of expertise and kind of create this larger community, this larger conversation for us around elevating as women and all the different pieces that go into that. So Kyla is going to bring the style piece for us today. So I'm so glad you're here with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So
Thank you for having me.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Do you want to give any background on yourself, how you got started and like what interests you in style?
Yes. So I am a true fashionista who comes from a long line of fashionistas. And my obsession with style started as a kid watching my mother get dressed, watching my grandmothers get dressed. They are women who love to get dressed. We didn't have much, but we were going to make sure we looked good. And I came from a family that, they were religious. We went to church and we had this concept of Sunday's best. And my family tended to take it to the next level where it was like, we're going to dress our best every day. So that's a
Oh, I love
value that I always grew up with. Yeah, it's a value I grew up with, and it's something that I still hold to this day. And I didn't jump into fashion. It was something I always loved. It was something that felt second nature to me. But before I was a stylist, I was working in tech. And while I loved that career, I oftentimes noticed that there were a lot of very brilliant, brilliant women in the room, women who knew their stuff, women who were well educated, women who were movers and shakers, but oftentimes what got in the way of them really being great and showing up in a big way was that they felt really insecure about how they were dressed, how they looked. They didn't know how to have presence. And that's why style became really important to me. I would help them just as friends. And a lot of times I would see how much that would just transform them. And that joy was just something I loved. The joy in them brought me joy. So I decided it's time for me to fully just step out and make this real. I got certified through the London College of Fashion as a personal fashion stylist. And I just went full steam ahead. So since 2020, I have been officially styling women. I love working with brilliant, nerdy women who are just ready to start showing up differently.
Mm-hmm. I love hearing more about your backstory because we had talked before, but just painting that picture, I can see that room with the woman, giving the presentation or something like that, and just really having the star power in terms of their talent and their gifts, but for some reason they've neglected the other parts, and so they're not necessarily showing up in a way that physically matches like their their gifts and their talents and their intellect.
100%. I say, like, I work with brilliant women who deserve brilliant closets. And a lot of the time, you're up in front of people on stage, you're leading a presentation. You have to have this personal brand to go along with whatever career you
Mm-hmm.
have. But in that, you want to also be in a place where you know how to own the room before you even have to get to the front of the room. Because a lot of the times, before you even get invited to the front of the room, you need to be noticed first. And if you're showing up in a way that says, I'm hiding, I don't want to be seen, and you may very well be doing that without realizing it. you're going to see that reflected in your everyday. So that could look like wearing black every day.
Yep.
That could look like wearing leggings every day. That could look like showing up frazzled. That could look like just feeling like you're not really trying to be seen. It's better if you don't get noticed, but you deeply wish that you're actually being noticed for your hard work. And this isn't just for women in tech specifically, this is for any woman. You need to learn how to shine without saying a word when you walk into a room.
So powerful. So powerful, and kind of so complementary to what I do, which is the movement piece, right? And I'm so glad you said that about wearing black, because I made that post and a lot of people got mad. But I'm telling you guys, I'm not a stylist, but I'm telling you all, I've been, Kyla and I have both been working with women who we see the shrinking, okay? We see the shrinking, and we want to help you get out of that. And
100%.
Kyla's area of expertise is really helping you build that brilliant wardrobe to match where you want to go. Because, like you said, and I think about this all the time as well, I hate to see women miss out on things simply because they just haven't been shown how to dress or how to walk or how to speak. You know what I mean? They have everything else, but the presence. And, there's that whole realm of like executive presence, which is really big right now, as well, So
Yeah.
I love that.
100%.
Love that. So I have a couple questions for you. And this is something specifically I wanted my community to hear. Hi, Yo. Good to see you. I've heard you talk about learning to dress to flatter yourself. So can you tell us more about that concept of learning to flatter yourself and how that can really help you elevate?
Yes. I think that a lot of us have grown up, or lived most of our adult lives in this like super digital age where there are constantly photos being pushed in our face on how we look, what's cool, what people are doing, and kind of trying to force ourselves into that mold. And a lot of the times, what you're seeing being given to you is someone else flattering themselves and you being told that in order to be beautiful, you need to look like that. And that is so, so far from the truth. I had a client once talk to me about like what they thought was really cool. And they were like, I really love like the Hailey Bieber look. We all do. Hailey's got it in the bag when it comes to style. However, Hailey's style isn't simply because her clothes are really great or really expensive. They're also because Hailey and her team understand what is going to look good on Hailey. That's whether that be a specific fit of dress or a specific fit of pants or a certain color. They know what works for Hailey to make Hailey shine. So what I do is I work with my clients to help them figure out what is going to make them shine and what is going to be the thing that makes their personality show without them necessarily having to say, here I am all the time. So that is really what flattering yourself is. It's learning what colors look great on you. Like I'm wearing black today. We talked about black. I am from New York. We love black, but at the same time, should you be wearing black every day? Is black the only color you can wear? Can we expand that so you know what to wear when it's time for you to be in look at me mode? Along with that, learning how to dress for your body, which I'm actually working on right now, a really great mini course. It's a 7-day mini course. It's going to teach you how to dress for your body. And we're going to go through everything from underwear to outerwear. These are the things that look good for you and your fit so that you can ensure that the items in your closet are actually working for you instead of against you. A lot of times people will see something online and say, I really want to dress like that. Then you go and try to mimic it and it just does not look the same. There's a way of going about getting inspiration from online, but then tailoring it and tweaking it to actually work for you. And that's really what flattering your body is all about. Just like in dating, just like in a job, at the end of the day, you want to love what loves you back. So don't go for the clothes that you love, but do not love you back. You want to stop that.
Yes, I love that concept. And I was, looking back at our previous conversation and love the one you're with. And now we have love the clothes that love you back. And it's so important because I've really paid attention to this in my own career, even down to the types of necklines that I wear and, how high I want the high waist, because I understand dance lines. And so there are a lot of people out there who don't understand like how the way that they dress is really affecting your proportions. And so you could end up looking, and I'll go ahead and use the word worse, but in context, right? You could end up looking so much worse and look at yourself and be like, oh my goodness, like why isn't it working for me? But it's simply just because you just don't know these things, right?
Yes. And I think the thing is, this is probably one of the most body positive things you could do for yourself, is get to
Yeah.
understand this about yourself. Because a lot of the times we feel like, oh, because I don't look like X, or because this does not fit me like it's supposed to, there's something wrong with me. And that is so far from the truth. There's something wrong with how you're picking clothes. That's really all the issue is. Clothes are designed by someone you've never met who doesn't know you, then created in whatever assembly line and God knows where, and then put up on these racks across the country and sold to you. Your job isn't to try to mold yourself into them. Your job is to be able to go into that store and pick from those racks what works for you, so that you're spending your money wisely, so that you're getting dressed properly, and so that you're feeling good about your body.
I love that. I love that. I feel like once I realized what worked for me and my body type, it was more fun to get dressed and it was more fun to go shopping.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
love,
100%.
I love. So we've chatted previously about the importance of embracing your feminine energy as a woman. And both you and I are on the same wavelength. So how would you say that developing your style as a woman can help you do that? Do you feel like there is a relationship between feminine energy and how a woman styles herself?
This is one of my favorite questions. Okay, so when it comes to feminine energy and style, we all know, hopefully, that getting dressed and wearing dresses and wearing pink is not everything when it comes to feminine energy. It's actually not fully stepping into your feminine energy. And that is not what I'm trying to get you to do. But understanding your feminine energy is huge, 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 huge. And getting dressed in a way that so that you show. I've seen with women is that they oftentimes don't really know what their personal power is. And when I work with women, I'm oftentimes helping them discover that before we even get them in clothes. Because if you don't know who you are and how you're trying to show up in the world, you could put on the most beautiful dress in the world and feel super awkward. So that is the first step. When I'm working with women, coaching women, one of the first things I have them do is go to womenlovepower.com. And if you haven't done that already, I really suggest you do that. That is a platform created by Aisha K. Fames. She sadly passed away far too soon, but she was an amazing, prolific thinker and researcher on feminine energy. And she came up with 7 archetypes that we often see used. That could be the love.
Hang on, I think you're muted. Can you hear me? Okay,
Yes,
there
I
we go.
can. Yes, I
There
can.
we go.
Sorry, I had something pop up. That could be, and someone asked, what is her name? That's Ayesha Faines, Faines. But we have the lover archetype, we have the mother archetype, the huntress archetype. There are all sorts of versions of feminine energy. So it's not just pink, it's not just dresses. And that is what I want them to come into my container and understand before we get them dressed. Which one of those essences do you hold the most? And how can we play up on that? So for me, I have heavy maiden, mystic, and mother energy. There are going to be times where like I get dressed heavily in one of those or blend all of those. And having that understanding helps me understand how I'm going to show up in the world. So right now I'm feeling very maiden today. This like green punchy shirt is just so fun and it's very vibrant, and that speaks to my energy. Ariel, I find that you definitely have heavy mystic energy. You have
Ooh.
a bit of a mother and like queen energy. And I feel like the way that you dress, especially those high necklines, especially those long lines, and also the way that you move really just elevates that even more, really amplifies that. So that's what I think is really important. And getting dressed in the first place is really understanding your archetype before you even start choosing new clothes, before you even start detoxing your closet, because it'll help you decide like, why do I feel like this shirt just isn't me? Why it just doesn't feel right? A lot of that is because it's not matching your essence at all.
I love that. There's so much to think about, and I'll share that website that Kyla was talking about in my stories for those of you who are listening. Um, one thing that's really coming to mind here is like this conversation really just makes me think of when we get to a place of maturity in our own evolution as women, we are making our choices around style based on how we want to portray ourselves in the world and what kind of identity we want to start embodying, instead of making a choice based off of price and convenience, which is I think where
Yes.
a lot of women are, right? Oh, this is on
Yes.
sale and it sort of fits.
It's like, no.
I've been there. I've been
Yes.
there. But it's like there's no intention behind it. There's no, and then so then you have these pieces that were all kind of affordable and convenient, but it's not cohesive and it's not representing any type of energy. And like you said, for example, white is my signature color. You know that more pageants have been won wearing white than any other color.
I
So
love that.
this is
I love
this is
that.
my winter color. This is my winter
It
color.
is.
I'm I think I looked to see if they had like pageants for people my age, and they do. Um,
I could see it, honestly.
right,
I
right.
used to do pageants back in the
Oh,
day,
I
back
love
in my
it.
teen years. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I just like
My
the idea.
mother, what's the color? Yeah, no, I think you absolutely should, by the way. Like, we'll talk. We'll talk. You will win that.
It'd be fun.
Oh,
But yeah,
yes.
yeah, the
You know,
price and convenience is like it's not building towards anything.
yes. And I'm so glad you touched on that, because anybody who's in that place right now, and we've all been there, like I was there, like, and there's going to be times in your life where like you got to work with the budget. Okay, you got to work with the budget. But if you're in that place where you're chronically like, it's almost like first nature for you to just go towards the sales rack when you walk into a store, I really want to challenge you to buy something full price. If Or really want to challenge you to buy something that you would consider just like a step up, maybe a little more high end than what you're used to. And I don't want you to do this because labels are important, or because, you must be a high value woman who wears X and X designer. None of that. I want you to do it because I want you to practice investing in yourself and practice letting yourself have something that feels out of reach. Um, when I work with people, I definitely don't want to like stretch their budget way further than they're comfortable with. But what I want them to understand is you're actually not really saving that much money by buying a bunch of stuff on sale.
Right.
You might have gotten more for your dollar, like more quantity wise, but we want to think quality over quantity. I want you to say, like, it's much better for me to get a pair of jeans that fit me well, the color is great, they're going to last me a long time versus buying 2 or 3 pairs of jeans with that same amount of money that one doesn't quite fit or the other one is kind of like a weird cut, and you're just doing it because you know you've saved money. You really haven't. You really didn't. You just got two things for the price of one instead of one really good thing. So I try to challenge people to push past that urge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it helps tap into your feminine energy, because kind of why I was thinking about that is, you know, I like to think of feminine energy as not being in the practical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
doesn't always have to be practical or whatever convenient, affordable
Yes.
option. It's about really going for pleasure.
Yeah.
When we're shopping for like price and convenience, oftentimes there's not as much pleasure in it.
I have this running theory. I haven't done research on this, but I have a running theory that women who are constantly trying to be convenient, look for convenience, using convenience as like the goalpost, are women who are also finding themselves in the cool girl,
Mm-hmm.
like everything's fine, candid girl, whether that be in your work, whether that be in your dating, that could be the way that you're dressing. Like, if you're making convenience your goalpost, I think you're doing it wrong. You're thinking about it the wrong way. I think
Right.
it should be much more thinking of personalization, customization, having your life shaped for you as the goal.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That feels very, very feminine to me, like really designing and customizing your dream life,
Yeah.
your dream personal brand. And you get to have different eras. So, like, whatever you choose right now isn't permanent, it gets to
Yeah.
change.
Yes.
But really putting
Totally
yourself
agree.
in the designer seat.
Yes, 100%. And that, again, is why something like Flatter Your Body, or even learning your having face analysis done, color analysis done, these things are important. It might seem frivolous at first, but honestly, at the end of the day, these are a part of you designing your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Okay. So this kind of segues nicely. I've also heard you talk a lot about embracing your authentic style. And like you mentioned earlier, you know, it's not about wearing a certain color or wearing dresses if you don't like dresses, but what are some of the myths about styling and fashion that you would like people to know? And how does this help us kind of center authenticity and why it's so important?
Oh, it's so important. I think at the end of the day, everybody's wardrobe is going to look a little different than the next person's because you're kind of layering all of these things on top of each other, right? We just talked about dressing for your body, finding your colors. That's kind of the more like science part of the art of style. You also want to understand again, like, what is your essence? What are your archetypes? That's a part of it. Then you also want to consider what your lifestyle is, right? So are you, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, maybe you are in middle management at work, maybe you are the CEO of your own company. These are different things you want to consider. Maybe you're somebody who does pole dancing, maybe you're somebody who does pottery. Like, you want to have all of these different parts of your life expressed in your wardrobe as well. And someone said to me once, they were like, I just kind of got to the point where everything was just leggings and workout clothes because trying to like fit in all the different aspects of my life felt difficult. And I really want people to not just feel like they have to work with a stylist or take a styling course simply because like you need to dress like the Instagram girls. No. I want you to take this course so that you understand like, okay, this is who I am. This is what I want to dress for. These are my aspirations and the things I'm going for. So I want to dress for those things. This is where my lifestyle is currently. So I want to make sure my current wardrobe aligns with that. So that you're showing up in places as yourself. And that you have a wardrobe that can work with you through all of those different things that you do in life. The thing about that is though, is a lot of times I'm not just working with you as like simply a stylist. I call myself a style coach for a reason, because a stylist is going to help you find really great pieces, but they're not going to sit down with you and say, okay, it seems to me right now like you're not fully sure on what you want from life. And that is actually being expressed in this closet that has nothing to wear because it doesn't know where it's going. So we unpack all of that together, because your style is oftentimes just a reflection of where you're at and where you've been. And in working with a style coach like me, we're now focusing on, okay, where are we going? How do we get there? Let's bridge those gaps.
I love that. Being intentional and having a direction, and then keeping it authentic to you and what your aspirations are, your lifestyle, etc. Because, you know, you can go on Pinterest and see all kinds of ideas, right?
Yes.
But it should really come from within. And I agree with you. A lot of times when I'm speaking to women, especially in the work that I do, I find that in the beginning, a lot of women are not tuned into what they really want. They haven't given themselves the
Yes.
chance to ever really think about it. And it feels scary. Sometimes it feels guilty. They're holding back a little bit. Do you find that?
Yes, so much. Oftentimes, I feel like even when we feel like we've leveled up, we still find ourselves like holding ourselves back in some way. And I think that working with like a feminine movement and mindset coach, working with a style coach, the whole reason you want to work with a coach is because you want somebody to help you kind of find your direction and give you like the gentle push you need to take that first step forward. Knowing what you want. I'm sure we've all seen like the Notebook meme where she's like,
Oh,
"What do you
yeah.
want?" I don't know. We've all been there. We've all been there, but it's really important for you to kind of nail that down as a woman at some point and understand that it's going to evolve and it will change over time, and that's perfectly fine. But start to figure out what it is and exercise getting really clear, because that clarity is going to be the thing that makes it something that you can actually move towards. And sometimes the reason we're so afraid to get clear and afraid to just say what we want is because there's a part of us that feels like we can't have it. Um, and and we are both here to let you know you can have it. It's going to be one step at a time, one day at a time, but you can have it. And the best way to allow yourself to have it is to just say what it is, write it down, make it plain.
I love that. I love that. I agree with you. I feel like there's fear. There's fear
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah.
but it's so liberating when women can step into that space and start saying the things that they truly desire and start being honest about like what they want for themselves, because again it gives you options. Now you don't have to feel stuck. Now you don't have to feel afraid or whatever it is, because you know you're finally being honest with yourself about what it is that you want. And if you want to wear the hot pink pantsuit or the all black gown or whatever it is, like that's what we want. We want you to step into that and like and really embody it, not just put it on the body, but really like allow yourself to shine from within.
one thing that I've noticed is there are women who are maybe like kind of uncomfortable wearing dresses and skirts, um, or maybe they're uncomfortable wearing like a red lip, or they're uncomfortable wearing heels.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I find that a lot of times from that, like, oh, other women do that. They do that. Like, I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Me and my mom didn't do that, and we don't do that anymore. Or my friends don't really do that, and I don't stand out too much from the crowd, because if I isolate myself in that way, I won't have that like feeling of safety that I have right now from playing it safe, being the cool girl, not really owning what I want. And to that, I say it's time to woman up. Oftentimes you're, you know, I think for me personally, like used to have a time where I felt uncomfortable with like being perceived as weak, and because I was like sidekick friend, you know, show outshine like those friends, I outshine them, that's gonna alienate me. Or if I think I really want to wear, like I oftentimes go places and people will immediately say, I love your outfit, and conversation starts with that. There was a time I was really afraid of being like walking into a room and like knowing that people are actually looking at me. They're not staring, but people are noticing me. Um, and it really did came from unworthiness. It just came from, the fears that I mentioned. I think that was my ego's way of staying small, because I was afraid of being big. But when I started to actually do what I wanted to do, becoming my best self actually became so much easier. Dressing the way I wanted to dress made being my best self so much easier, made leveling up a lot easier, because I was allowing myself to actually show up in the world in a way that said, like, this is who I want to be. This is who I am. That's much harder to do when you are wearing things when you should not be. Of course, you can go to your gym class wearing, but when you're wearing you should not be, you're often be playing small. When you're wearing all black and you don't really want to, you're playing small.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know. I know. I'm on the same page. Um, so where can we learn more about you and what you offer for those who've been listening who are interested?
Yes. So you can follow me across all of my socials at It's Kyla, ITSKYLA. It's Kyla, not Kyla. You can also find me at It's Kyla.com. And there I will be sharing also tips, as well as giving you all access to some of my complimentary resources, like Closet Essentials checklist. Before we even work together, certain things you just need to closet. You can get that list and learn how to start implementing those things. You will also have access to my shopping calendar, which I share with people to help them stop impulse buying, instead start shopping more intentionally, as well as,
Oh,
of course, one-on-one services. So head to .com, take a look at my bio, go follow, so we can be friends.
okay, perfect. Let's see if anybody has any questions for those who are listening. And then Kyla, I think it may have been better with your earbuds.
And
Um,
put those back in.
yeah. There was one that passed by before that was saying, um, can archetypes change over time?
Repeat that question for me.
Oh, can archetypes change over time?
Yes. Yes, they absolutely can. So actually, even for myself, when I first took that quiz a few years ago, and I actually had like very heavy Aiden energy, very heavy siren lover energy. It is not to say I don't have those anymore, but when I took it, which was late last year, I actually got mother energy. And it's not to say that every woman has all of those in her, all of those energies are, we can tap into all of them at any time. But what it is that there are certain that are just a little more dominant for you. So at different phases in your life, they will change. And that's going to be around those times where you realize, wait, I think something a little different. Wait, I start dressing in a different way. A lot of those times when you're experiencing those changes just in life, that's actually what's happening. It's not the archetype is changing, but the energy that you're holding and the energy you have space for in this time is shifting. So that's the time to like reassess, like, where am I at? What do I want?
I agree. I'm going to take that quiz. But I mean, it only makes sense, right? Because I feel like, especially as women, I don't want to be the same.
Yeah. We can't, even when we're trying to.
I don't want to be the same my whole life. I love having different eras and different versions of myself. And like, you know, I'm really in my white era, and I just got some new wallpaper that I'm going to put up tomorrow. And I'm thinking, even as I'm designing these things, I wonder if I'm still going to like this in like 5-10 years, or if it's going to be something different. And I can't wait to experience that different era. So I think part of embracing your feminine energy is allowing yourself to be fluid and allowing there to be change and never locking yourself into just one thing. And being rigid, you know?
Yes. And the thing is, our wardrobe are similar in that way. Wardrobe was going to change over time. Like what you were wearing 5 years ago and what you're wearing today. Really gonna, at the end of the day, like if you go and download the Closet Essentials checklist, it'll go through the things that like every good pair of jeans, like a good pair of shoes, you know, but at the end of the day, like those that are those interest, more personality pieces or things. I may not be wearing this bright sweater in 5 years. Maybe or muted color. Maybe I'll be feeling I might be living in a space, so I need new clothes. And like you said, we definitely need to allow ourselves to be fluid. As women, we change with the moon. We have cycles. We have allow that because it's a part of our power.
I don't even have a pair of jeans, I'll be honest with you. Well, actually, no, I do have some, but I wear jeans like literally once or twice a year. Too many seams in the wrong place is all I want to say.
Yeah.
Whose idea was this? Let's get the stiffest material possible, create these thick seams, make it like hard to put on, hard to take off. No.
What? Totally.
Okay, so another question was, is dark feminine energy and style too much?
I'm assuming you mean like dressing for dark feminine energy. Is that too much? I say absolutely not. Absolutely not. First of all, dark energy can be interpreted in multiple ways. But if you're coming at from this idea of like maybe I'm feeling more Wednesday Addams than Glinda the Good Witch, or maybe you're feeling more femme fatale than like Mother Teresa, if that is the energy that you want to have, I think everybody should allow themselves to their authentic energy. We all have dark and light energy. So, I have pieces in my closet that are pretty, and then I have like a black leather blazer. Like these things, we can definitely allow ourselves to place that within our wardrobe and have it, we don't need to in a uniform per se. But we do need to make sure that we have pieces that reflect the different parts of ourselves, and to wear those. There's nothing wrong. I mean, now, of course, like we talked about last time we were together, there's volume to, so maybe there are certain places where the volume can be completely turned up and like just dark feminine energy, and then other places where maybe the volume is like at 50%. And
I love that. Love that. Well, you were kind of cutting out a little bit at the end there, but I think we got the main message, which is like being playful and allowing yourself to read the room a little bit and turn it on when it needs to be turned on, dial it down when it needs to dial down. But I will be sharing Kyla's info in my stories for those of you who are interested in learning more from her. And I don't know, there might be another conversation in the future. We don't know. It's too fun talking to you.
No, we have conversations, and I was going back and listening to our last talk, like, wow, that was a great moment. Yes.
Always a pleasure speaking with you.
Yes, it's always a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And thank you so much to everyone who.
Yes, thank you so much, and we will see you soon. Okay, bye.